Hi, this is Coach Hall, and today is Monday, November the 15th, 2021. This is your Monday motivation meeting, and today I want to talk about something that you can do in your life that will boost your life. Boost it. Today, the key word is boost. And I thought of the word today because later, and just about an hour, I'm going to go to a pharmacy and I'm going to get a shot right here. Boom. It's going to be my third shot, my third COVID shot, my booster shot. And I got to looking at that, and I was thinking about it today, and I was like, things happen to us each and every day, and there's events happening around us. There's people that we're engaged with. And if we look close enough, we can find subtle little reminders or signals or signs that we can look to remind us of the things that we need to remain positive in our life. Things that will help us look and remind us of our purpose. Things that will help us remind us of our values and all the things that are important in our life, if we choose to look at things that way. Now, I know some people that will be thinking about getting a vaccine, and they'll have a lot of negative things to say about it. Or they may just be, I don't want to get the vaccine shot because it's going to hurt, or it's going to make me feel sick, or whatever. And it's not to judge here, but there's a way to look at things. We can look at it that way, or we can look at it as, okay, I know why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for a reason. I have a purpose to do this. It's to help me not get COVID, and and not so much for myself. Of course, I don't want to catch it and get sick and die myself, but I got family members. I got older people who need a little more protection, and they're not in as good a shape as I am in, and so I'm concerned about their welfare. Don't want to pass it on to somebody. And so there's a multitude of reasons. It's not just like, I don't want to catch it. It's about protecting others as well. And so that's where my position is on that. And we're all free to have our own thoughts about vaccines and all that sort of thing. But, it's my choice, and that's what I choose to do. So today I decided to use this event that's going to take place and share it with you guys in terms of how we can view things that happen every single day and find something that will boost you up, motivate you to go forward in life. All right, so before we dig into it a little bit further, let's talk about what's going on in the group. We're holding steady here at, looks like we're at 76 is the group number. Yeah, that's what's happening here. We're at 76 members. And again, I want to put a big shout out to my friend and one of our group experts, Sonja, for her daily positive post. I mean, this is really, I look to them. There's some days I read these things and I go, wow, that's just a really nice post. I'm glad that she put that out there. But there are other days, like today, where I read her post and I go, whoa, that one's hitting home. This one, I can feel this one. This one means a lot more to me than some of the other ones. Not that the other ones are good, bad, or different. It's just that sometimes some of these posts really talk to me, right? And I'm sure you may feel the same way. Maybe a post that you read a couple days ago that really registers with you more than it would with me. Okay, and that's just the way it is. And I'm glad she puts up something different every day. She touches on a lot of different topics, but it's always about being positive. And today's was very special, and I really love her post. And today's was about baby steps. This, and again, this was something that really hit home because of the year that this has been. I set at the beginning of every year goals that I want to hit, business goals, and Star Family coaching goals, my own personal goals, family goals, and all sorts of goals. I cover the gambit, the 8 areas of my life that I want to keep in balance. I have goals for those, and I have goals for the 6 phases of development in my life. I want to keep getting stronger and better and sharper and quicker and faster and all these good things. I want to be the best version of myself, and I keep challenging myself. But there are times that you don't have control over everything, and this year, and really going back to 2020, 2020, maybe even the end of 2019, depending on where you are in the world, we had this thing that's transformed the world. And in some ways, there's been some good things that's come from it. I've been talking to people lately, and so there's some good things that have come from COVID-19. There's been a lot of bad things, a lot of death, a lot of economic suffering, a lot of health suffering. Even if you didn't die, you probably know somebody that did, or somebody got really sick, and we still don't know the completeness of the long-term effects of this disease, virus, illness, whatever you want to call it. And so we're still learning lots about it, and it keeps mutating and changing and things like that. So it's interesting how, as a society, globally, we've been responding to this thing. And in that response has, in some areas, been more of a reaction, and in other areas, it's been a response without really knowing if we're doing it completely the way we should be doing it or not. But we're doing something, and there's consequences to everything that you do, and we're learning all this stuff, right? It's a big learning process. And hopefully, if we have to deal with something like this in the future, good chance we will learn lessons from this that we will be able to benefit from the next go around. So because of that, you and me and pretty much everybody on this planet, if they had set some goals, their normal goals, they'd probably be impacted because of directly from COVID-19 or indirectly from COVID-19. And that's what's happened to me in my business. And it's really hit home health-wise and economically, and just relationship-wise, every conceivable way you can think, to me and my family. Okay, so it's had me go at a much slower pace. So the challenge for me has really just been trying to keep some kind of steady pace. I've been promising, like, we're going to start the grand opening of the LLE, and we're going to have all these things, and it's just been impossible this year because of the challenges I could not anticipate occurring before I set the goals. You don't know what you don't know, and there's things I didn't know that I learned along the way. So it seems like I've had more death and more family emergencies, more than death. Back in 1999, I had like 7 family members die in one year. That was the toughest year in that regard. But in terms of family emergency, this has been the most difficult time since that time in my life. And they just keep coming. There's just one minor crisis after another seems to be popping up, and we're dealing with them. Okay, so we also have the holidays coming up, right? And that's fast approaching. And because of the holiday season, I had these big marketing goals that I've been trying to take classes and create a campaign, and everything keeps getting put on the back burner and wait and start over. And since it's something that's new, it's not something I could just read and just pick up the next time. I got to reread some things and relearn some things. And some of you guys in this group may be feeling the same way when it comes to taking some of my courses, that I'm taking a few lessons and I got to stop and do life, and now I got some free time. A couple weeks later, I don't remember all these things that Coach Hall talked about. I got to go back and rewatch a few of these videos. And that's why a group like this is great, because we can get in and have a conversation and move this thing along a little faster. So when we have these little pauses, like the little stop signs in the road, the lights that pop up and force us to stop ourselves in life, we are not just sitting there losing all this information. We can keep the conversation going. Even if it is a 5-minute look in the group and go, okay, I'm still curious about this topic, post something, and then you can see the thread. You see me post or reply to your post or comment about the post. Maybe Sonja or others that are in the group applying or replying or commenting on your post. And that's how we can keep things active and going. Okay, so I just want to say that, this year for me, and probably for you too, but can't speak for you guys, can only speak for me. This has been a really tough year. And I could tell you that my old self, the guy back in the 1990s that was kicking tail and taking names and making money and getting raises and winning all these awards and stuff, and I was practicing NLP, and I was having as much success as anybody could have, could not have dealt with this year. There's no way that this year would have been handled well, because, and I know this to be true, because what sent me into panic attacks was much smaller in scale in terms of issues related to the impacts that are having on my life and the folks in my life, and how many different people these things were impacting. And I wouldn't have been able to handle it now. So what's the big difference is that since that time I've learned a lot, right? I've branched out on NLP, I've branched into CBT and ACT, which I teach now. ACT, that's how much I got into ACT. And eventually studied and developed CTME, Cognition Tower, the Mind Elevator, and Six Film, this proactive approach to life, and the Happy Life course that I teach as well. And so all these things that I teach, sometimes when you get into teaching mode, you're just out there teaching, and you don't get an opportunity to really practice it that much. And so sometimes I look at what's happening, especially this year, as a big test. Okay, you've been teaching for a while now, coach. Let's see if you still got the goods, right? And that's kind of how I look at this year. This year has been very difficult, and I have to recognize that and accept that. I can't pretend like it's not difficult. It's very difficult. But the difference is that I am handling this thing like, sometimes I look in the mirror and go, how are you dealing with all this stuff? I am. And I have to attribute it to all these things that I teach, and I actually practice this stuff. So I can look at things in a lot of different perspectives. I can put this thing into a bigger light, into a broader scope, versus just having a subjective experience of, and just living through the pain and the sorrow that I'm going through, which I'm going through some pain and sorrow, but there's more that I'm going through. And that's what I do. I look at the bigger, broader scope of life. And that's what keeps me going. And so, like today, got to go get a booster shot, right? Who wants to go get a needle jammed in their arm? I've had 2 of them in there, and it doesn't feel good when they stick a needle in your arm. It never does. But, and I can look at it and go, oh God, I'm going to be all worried, and oh God, here comes the needle. And grit my teeth and make it feel a lot worse than it is, and then feel the pain, and then walk around with the maybe a tiny bruise on my arm, and maybe it swells up a little bit, and I'm going to hold my arm the rest of the day and just go, oh, I got a shot. And sometimes we can do that. When I was a kid, I got a shot. Man, I did that. I probably cried about my shot the whole day. Every time I looked over, I saw the Band-Aid. Oh yeah, I got a shot. Okay, well, I'm not a kid anymore. But the point is that it's going to hurt probably for a couple of days, because the last time I got these shots, they did. But do I have to focus on that, or can I focus on other things? Can I focus on positive things? Can I focus on the progress that I've made? And that gets me back to what I really wanted to talk about, which is the boost. What will be your boost for today? My boost is actually coming in the form of a booster shot. And I look at this booster shot not as something that's going to hurt me, but something that is going to protect me. Okay, it's going to keep me from getting sick, and it's going to keep me from getting other people sick. And so that's how I'm choosing to look at it. I'm also looking at it from the perspective of what it's doing, which is fighting against COVID, which has been this thing that's been with us for 2 years now, going on 2 years. And for 2 years, it's been this pain in the neck, and really a real problem for the whole world that we're dealing with. It has slowed life down. It's caused a lot of changes in a lot of people's lives. And I look at that and I go, okay, so this is part of this bigger picture, and how can I relate that to what's going on with my my career, with what I'm trying to do here with LLE, what I'm trying to do with Star Family Coaching in the school, in the enterprise I'm trying to grow, so we can really change the world, because that's what my big goal is to change the world. And I'm trying to get people to wake up to the reality that they, that presupposition, or the supposition that NLP talks about. You don't know what you don't know, or you only know what you know, is very true. And therefore, if it is true, there's more to learn and there's more to know. And certainly in the area of your mind, there's a lot more to learn and a lot more to know. And there's so much available for us to learn about our minds today. And once we learn our minds and understand how our minds operate, we can start using them to our benefit. And instead of allowing our mind to just get us caught up into this program of spiraling in a negative direction, you can actually reverse that and spiral us more into a more positive direction. And then take it to the next degree, which is opening yourself up and accepting all of reality, but still being able to grab hold of the steering wheel of life and direct and be more proactive and create the world that you want. And that's what this is all about, folks. And in LLE, this is what we can do. We can help each other achieve that goal. So this post that Sonja put up today was about taking baby steps. And I really appreciate it because this year's been really tough. I have not been able to, and probably will not hit most of my big goals for this year. And I could get all gloomy about that, and and get disappointed, want to beat myself up, and all these sorts of things. But when you look at the baby step idea, it really means that you're making progress. And focus. Sometimes in life, these external things are going to prevent us from doing what we have control over. Okay, because we don't have control over the outcome of things. We have the control of what we can do to help us achieve the outcome of things, but we don't have control of what the outcome actually will be all of the time. Some of the time, yes, if it's just like if I want to pick up my mouse, look, I've accomplished picking up my mouse. That's a pretty simple task. But if I'm trying to get 1,000 people to be in this group, it's not completely under my control. I have a lot to do with it, and my efforts. And if I make choices and just ignore the needs of my family and everything else, I could probably obtain these goals, but then I would be going against my values. Okay, and so here we have the purpose and the values. They need to be in alignment here. And I know my values and I know my purpose, and so my purpose is willing, and I'm willing to allow my purpose to go at a slower pace. The goal that's generated by my purpose can go at a slower pace. It does not necessarily need to be done. Certain numbers do not have to be done by 2022. Okay? Those are self-imposed goals that are just numbers. What I need to do is make sure I'm making progress, which I've done, and that's where we can look at the baby steps. Look at your baby steps and go, okay, I'm not starting over. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm not starting from the beginning. I've made some progress here. And so my new A point will be, maybe the beginning of next year. It'll be further down the road than it was last year. Not near my goal yet, but I'm closer to my goal. And that's just as important sometimes, especially when we have crisis, outside circumstances impacting us in a way that something like COVID-19 has had. Okay, so the question for you guys is, what can you go out and look for in terms of what other people are doing, or just in nature itself? What can you do to focus in on something that could become the boost of your day, the boost of your week, the boost of the month, maybe the boost for the rest of the year? Look for what is working well outside and go, that's working well, and use that as your motivation. That can be your boost. Okay, keep fighting the fight. Keep doing what you need to do to keep yourself creating the grit that you need to get through these difficult times. And lean on the group. Post in the group. Talk to us in the group. We've got 76 people in the group that we can share, our successes and our failures with, and we can boost each other up. the message here every day is positive, and we have a lot of thanks to give to Sonja for that, because she puts a positive message up every single day in the group. And so if you're feeling a little low or down, just check in every day, read what Sonja posts. I try to post as much as I can post. Usually it's something positive as well. And if you're like us and you want to share some positive stuff, by all means, submit the post. It'll likely get the okay, as long as we're not in conflict with anything that we're teaching here at Star Family Coaching and inside the LLE group. It's going to get an okay to post. So, or just reach out to me, message me, and say, hey, I'd like to talk about this, and I'll say yay or nay. Most likely it'll be a yay. Okay, so we're an open book here. Okay, all right. So again, final thought here of the day is just, what can you do to go out and find that thing or that person, some action that you're witnessing that you can use to help boost you up in life. Okay, get your day going, get your week going, get your month going, and get the rest of the year going. With that, we're going to sign off for the November 15th edition of the Monday motivational meeting. Live long and prosper. Keep cool, folks, and share the love.